Hello, lovely people. Welcome to Laurel and Artistry. Last week was Father's Day, and my dad had requested that I do a sports painting for the occasion. I asked what he'd like, and he suggested a throwback to the Denver Broncos' first Super Bowl win, as they're his favorite team. About the only Broncos thing I was all that familiar with was the name John Elway, so I did an image search for pictures of him during the 1998 Super Bowl to use as a reference image. My phone yet again decided not to save a large chunk of the footage I had recorded of myself sketching this, so I'm sorry for the jump in progress there. I should probably get something better for recording soon. I get him all sketched up, and then I use some masking fluid to keep some spots nice and white. Now on to painting. I add splotches of blue, very carefully painting it to look random and unintentional. Also painting in some spatters and some drips. I think something about this blotchy style helps add action and emotion to a painting, which is why it often is my go-to when I do sports paintings. Now for the splotches of orange, done the same way. Let it bleed together with the blue in a few spots. And just keep at it until I like how it looks. My dad has been one of the biggest supporters of my art throughout my life. He's bought me a lot of supplies, he's given me many ideas, and he's shared so much encouragement. So it's always fun to do a painting for him, even if this is a less familiar subject for me than my art tends to be. I darken and brighten the colors a bit, trying my best to keep everything looking properly blended without all mixing into an icky brown that isn't very visually pleasing. You know, Elway is actually a name of one of Tolkien's elves, but it's spelled a bit differently. I was tempted to spell it that way as a joke, but I didn't think people would get it. Then I splash on some final bits of paint before I move on to painting Elway himself. Mix some more blue for his jersey and start painting that. This is my first time painting an American football player, rather than, the English type of football. So, the shoulder padding and such makes it a bit harder to tell whether I've got the proportions right. The helmet tripped me up a bit too. But, as I add detail, I can fix any obvious proportion issues if they happen to present themselves. Add in the rest of the blue, such as on the top of his socks and his helmet. Now, onto our orange. He's got a number of orange stripes on his uniform, on his leg, up the side of his jersey, along his neckline, below his shoulders, and a few spots on his helmet. Brighten up the orange splotches a bit. And now we'll start in on shading. Shading, if going well, is one of the most satisfying parts of painting, because it really what makes everything start to pop. It's really fun to start seeing how textures start to form as you shade in the right spots. And then I get out my detail brushes to clean everything up. I'm glad at least part of the Broncos logo is visible here because I don't have it anywhere else on the painting. I paint the skin in grayscale to make the other colors really stand out. I quite enjoy doing a mix of black and white with color, and I was actually planning on doing that with my last painting I posted of Deku from My Hero Academia, but when I actually started painting, I forgot about that. Oh well. Faces can be hard when I'm not that familiar with them, especially when they are obscured by something like a helmet, but I do my best. I was pretty young when the Broncos won their first Super Bowl, so I don't really remember anything about it at all. But I know it was a big moment for my dad, so I hope I can make this painting really special for him. It's so fun to paint the things I love and am passionate about, but there's also something special about being able to paint for those I love. My dad is incredibly generous. He has a passion for gift giving, so I always want to do what I can to show my appreciation for him. And I want to be like him in his enthusiasm to consider others and do special things for them. I paint the football an orangey brown. And I paint in the white parts of his uniform, trying to get everything nice and detailed. His shoes or boots or cleats or whatever they're called were giving me a bit of a hard time, but I think I managed to make them fairly passable. Time to zoom out and finish up the painting with all the last minute touch-ups that complete the piece. Adding more shading to the football. And brightening up the blue a bit. And adding some grass stains because that's what you get for playing in the grass with white pants. And there we go, I think I'm done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join me again. In the meantime, remember not to wear your white clothes in the grass. Ciao!